What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna go and visit some of the most nostalgic locations that mean a lot to us, obviously, in Bloxburg. Especially some of the OGs, that have been there for a very long time. Like when Bloxburg wasn't free, and also before it was like under back when Focus. And so yeah, so since the new map update is coming out tomorrow, I just thought why not go and look at some of our most favorite places around the map. Now obviously everyone has their own preferences, so I can't account for every single nostalgic place for everyone, but I can definitely account for some. So yeah, all right. So, number one, I want to talk about the campsite. Now, yes, this is a brand new campsite, so we can't really count it as nostalgia in the moment. However, nostalgia in the past, yes. Um, just remember those days where you'd be doing a role play and maybe you decided that you wanted to take like a little family camping trip or so you'd come here with the three tents pretty much, and you would do a uh, family camping trip. And for me, I would always like make s'mores specifically. I don't know why, I just would. And so yeah, that's pretty nostalgic for me. When it comes to the roleplay era. Second, do you guys remember coming to gas blocks over here, right, down the street from the campsite, and just like having just like a role play of just like stopping at the gas station. Maybe you were taking the long way to get to the campsite, and so you needed to get gas, or you needed to get like food. The family was hungry. You needed snacks. You needed to make the road trip, or maybe you were just coming here to use the ATM. Um, but this is also a pretty nostalgic place. I remember when I would take road trips, especially like for camping trips, with my RP family. I would come to gas blocks pretty much every single time. Next, this isn't really like a place, but do you guys ever remember role playing with the traffic lights? Like, I know a lot of people would just zoom right through the traffic lights no matter if it was red or green, but there were definitely some people, including me, where sometimes I would actually role play the traffic light. So, like, if it was red, I would actually legitimately stay there. Now, I do want to mention the Bloxy Acre sign in the Riverside Estates side. I personally, me and my cousin, I'm pretty sure we grew up thinking that Bloxy Acres was for the rich people and that the Riverside Estates was for the, um, lower income base people. But I've heard that it's the other way around. Next, I just noticed this actually. I did not see this before. Um, Not even in like my tour video, but um, the pre-built houses. This house right here is one of the very most nostalgic, iconic houses that you could ever encounter in Bloxburg because it was our first home. A lot of us probably hated it because of the way it looks and the colors and everything, but it was our first home, and we stayed in it for quite a while because of course we had to work to get some money to like build some better houses and stuff. But this is one of those moments where I am very glad that this pre-built actually did stay in the game when they did add a bunch of new pre-builds and when they removed a lot of the old ones, because I feel like this is just a really nostalgic pre-built that brings back a lot of memories. Now obviously we all had our fair share of Pizza Planet where we pretty much hated the fact that the mopeds were so slow, and we would be working and it was like we wish that the mopeds were faster. Now the mopeds are actually faster, but it's still a very important part in our journey because I feel like a lot of us have done the Pizza Planet job. Since before the job update came out, Pizza Planet was the highest paying job, and you know, even though it was slow and we started off making less money, it was still there. Now, this is not a nostalgic place, but I do want to bring it up. So obviously before the Bloxburg Theater was here, there used to be the nightclub. And for me, I felt like the nightclub was a very important part of my journey and also very nostalgic as well. Um, I remember I would always go, and like if I was in an RP, I would always go to the nightclub and literally do whatever we wanted. I'd literally get like the grape juice or like the orange juice, I can't remember, and I would pretend that it was like an actual like real drink and be like, "Oh, look, I'm drinking," and just like hang out with like friends or like um siblings in the RP and stuff like that. And it was just a really important part of the journey there. So nostalgic. So it is sad that the building got taken down and they put a theater here. I do like the theater idea. I do kind of wish that maybe they just had it as a separate building and then, maybe remodel nightclub to make it a little bit better since it was a little outdated. Kind of like fancy furniture over here. But it's okay. I'm not complaining. Now, another very nostalgic place I'm going to get out for this one is the Bloxburg City Hall. Honestly, I don't know if they plan on taking this building down or if they're going to put it in the new map. Um, but this is a very nostalgic place for us because this was school. You know, in RPs, this was school. Like it was crazy how we turned a game that, yes, it had, quite a bit of RP buildings in it and stuff, but we turned the game into something more. Like we made our own version of school without there having to be a school inside of the game. And so like I don't know, it's just really nostalgic. Like I remember so many RPs I would come here and I'd either be picking up my kids or I would be coming to school here, and I remember just walking around and going to like the library cases and stuff like that with my cousin. We would leave the building. We would go to like Pizza Planet or the nightclub um or like the gym, and then we would come back by the time our parents were supposed to come pick us up. So basically, it would be ditching school and stuff like that. So many like memories here. I'm really gonna miss the Bloxburg City Hall if they do take it out. Now, BFF Supermarket is not as nostalgic. Um, I don't really think a whole lot of people really did anything here, but for me, in the middle of role plays, I would come here, specifically get a cart, and start filling up the cart with food that like my kids or like my siblings wanted. Like as a natural just that is everybody remember Green Clean? That is also a very nostalgic part of my journey. I feel like Green Clean was definitely a job that I really enjoyed. Um, because it wasn't like Pizza Planet where you were constantly like driving back and forth on a moped delivering pizza boxes. Green Clean was just more of you were in this small contained area cleaning up, the graffiti and the garbage mess and stuff like that. And you were just, it was just easy to not kind of get bored because you were doing it constantly versus the Pizza Planet. You're like having to drive all the way to the customer, then coming back, and then going back again. So I liked it. But being a janitor was the very first job that I have worked um, during my Bloxburg days when I first joined Bloxburg. Even though it was, paying low, I would always come and work at the janitor job. And like actually, yeah. So actually I was level 13 when I stopped doing it. I was level 13. Um, and I'm level 39 in Pizza Planet, so that's not that far off. But I was level 13, you know, just making a living out of being a janitor. I remember like I would have certain goals. Like my friend built me a house, so I would just be like, okay, I just want some money for like a laptop because you. I felt like if you had a laptop in your house or a desktop, I feel like you were just cool. Like that's just what it meant. Like you were just cool. Now, does everybody remember the Ferris wheel? The Bloxburg Ferris wheel was such a iconic place. I remember I would come to the beach, whether I was the mom or a sibling, or a kid. I would come to the beach. I would specifically go and get ice cream from Ben's ice cream, and then I would go on the Ferris wheel, and I'd sit on the Ferris wheel, and I'd either sit on it with like my friend or a sibling, you know, or just by myself. But I would go sit on the Ferris wheel and ride the Ferris wheel. And it was like, for those, like, I don't even know how long it would take you to ride the Ferris wheel in a complete, like, go around. But for that entire time, I just had fun. I just had fun. Okay. It was just very peaceful and everything. Like, I just enjoyed being on the Ferris wheel for that one time. And then and then probably after I'd get off and like actually go swim in the water on the beach. But you know, not too much, not too much. Does everybody remember trying to go up this big hill right here and like falling off? Like even if we knew that we couldn't fit up there, like if we would take our cars and we would try and go up the hill in our cars and we knew that we couldn't fit up the hill, we would still be trying to go up the hill anyway. And then we would get mad whenever we fell down the hill because, we could have been like so close, but yet we fell down. That's something that happened quite a bit, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest. But it was still just very nostalgic. Like we would go up the hill. We knew we couldn't go up the hill, but we'd still go up the hill, and then we'd fall. Then we'd get mad, but then it was kind of our own fault because we decided to do it anyway. And then lastly, we have this gas station. I believe lastly, I don't think I missed anything. Hopefully I didn't. I do apologize if I did miss some stuff. You can let me know what I missed in the comments. But lastly, I want to mention these gas station pumps. Um, Pretty frequently during role plays, if we didn't go to the gas blocks over there by the camping site, we would definitely go to like this gas station right here, and we would grab the pump, and we would just like act like we could actually use the pump. But we couldn't. Which honestly, that would be something that I would like to see Bloxburg do in the future is like add the ability to be able to actually use the pumps. Now, that doesn't mean that our vehicles have to run on gas. It could just mean that for roleplay purposes, the pump actually functions. But alright, that's gonna be it for the nostalgic video of the top places that are the most nostalgic in Bloxburg. If I did miss any of your personal favorites, you can let me know in the comments. Also, feel free to share any stories, any Bloxburg stories, any Bloxburg moments that you guys may have had in the past as well. Um Also, I will have my Discord server linked in the description. Feel free to join my Discord server so you can be in future videos, and so you can hang out and talk to me, talk to other people. I'm trying to revive it. It's been the chat's been kind of dead because like no one's really been talking in it, but I'm gonna try and revive it by starting to talk in it more, hopefully, and if we can get some new members in to be active, that'll help as well. Um, Also, feel free to share your stories there. And also, like I said, you'll have the opportunity to be in future videos, whether it's role plays, videos of me asking for like questions for a Q&A that I want to do. I do ask for video ideas from time to time. So that would also benefit um benefit me if you guys, join, share those video ideas that you want to see. Um and yeah, that is all I have to say. This is goodbye to Bloxburg, and I guess welcome to the new era after this big giant meteor hits. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!